So we have a weird situation here, right? We look at how can we support small businesses, and how do we do that by giving them things to make their life easier. And it feels to me very much like, so I use tax as an example of this a lot. We want to set up a fund to help small businesses. So basically what we do is we tax all businesses, including small businesses. We run the money that we collect through the bureaucratic system and we give a bit of it back to small businesses. Right? That doesn't seem like an incredibly efficient solution. And that's just on the direct tax, right? For every dollar that we pay in direct tax, there's probably 20, 30, 40 cents in indirect tax or hidden tax or just costs of doing business as well. So surely the first solution is that we try and reduce those costs for these small businesses to try and make them, have greater success. So firstly, some of these hidden costs. You're a small entity. Why, you're not gonna damage the market in some way if you behave poorly in most sectors. If you're relatively small, you don't make a meaningful contribution to tax, etc. Why are we regulating so heavily? The food sellers opposite UNAM being a good example as well. Why do we regulate these smaller entities? Why do we expect them to register for tax and VAT and similar when really those contributions that we get from them are relatively meaningless? If they grow, if they become big employers, if they become big entities, then we can start to get, the Caesar's pound of flesh, as it were. But why do we put that same burden on these small entities? That simply doesn't make sense. And especially just to take some of that money and give it back to those small entities. Surely if it's more efficient to leave it in the entities. I take that argument further and I say if you're a small entity, and I make a specific proviso here that you must be smaller than my business. Because if it's my business or bigger, then I'm just trying to punt for my own interest apparently. So smaller than my business. Why charge company tax at all? Company taxes, as far as the shareholder is concerned, a tax on capital. We have a capital deficient economy. We know this because we're desperately trying to put up venture capital funds and bring pension fund money back into the country and attract foreign investment. So we've got a capital deficient economy. Why are we taxing capital of small investors? What's the purpose of that? Do we really think that for a small investor, for a small business person, the money that you take away from them can be more efficiently utilized in the economy through the bureaucratic system of government than those entrepreneurs can use it themselves? I personally don't believe so. I'd like to see zero tax on profit for small companies. Sure, if you're taking money out of the company and it becomes an income stream, then tax it as an income stream. So tax a dividend, tax salaries, tax those sorts of things. But if it's capital in the business being invested to develop and grow that business, why are we taxing it? That doesn't make sense to me.